Getting into reloading and looking for everything you need can be a little bit intimidating. For instance, when starting out, I had no idea what tools I needed to get in order to reload a certain cartridge, and I started off with a reloading kit. The kits themselves have almost everything you need to start reloading, with the exception of reloading dies that you do need, which are cartridge specific and a few other things. For example, this kit comes with a single stage press, a volumetric powder thrower, trickler, and digital scale, which is nice to make sure you're yielding accurate powder throws, a hex key tool, case lubricant for resizing your cases, powder funnel for pouring powder, hand primer tool, calipers, a reloading block to put your cases in for when you pour powder, die lock rings, neck brushes for case prep, primer pocket cleaners, chamfering and deburring tool, a spear reloading manual, some shell holders for your cases so that they can be used with your press, and even a bullet puller. But what doesn't the kit include that you will need? You will need a set of dies for the specific cartridge you are reloading for. You can get the sets that offer a resizing die, a bullet seating die, and a crimp die like this one here. As you reload, you want to make sure you're resizing precisely. I highly recommend these tools here. This is a Hornady headspace gauge that attaches to your calipers. This kit comes with multiple different inserts for a cartridge you are reloading for that checks to make sure you are yielding consistent sizing measurements when resizing brass. The plus side is, to save you some money, you can then pick up the inserts for making sure you are creating consistent seating depths to maintain your correct case fill. These can also be used in conjunction with the body insert you already purchased with the headspace kit, so you don't have to buy another one. You will also need a way to trim your cases. There are a ton of different trimmers on the market you can choose from in different price ranges. Some are manually operated and some that are electrically powered too. You will also need a way to clean off your cases before resizing and after resizing, which you will need a vibratory tumbler, media, a media separator if you wish to dry tumble. If you wish to wet tumble, you will need a wet tumbler, stainless steel media, a solution you use to make your brass shiny, a media separator, and then a dryer. However, there are some dry tumbler kits you can get on Amazon for about $100 or less. I would highly recommend an enclosed media separator whichever way you go. This way, your media isn't flying all over your room where you reload, and no dust and debris is kicking up when you go to separate it. You will also need a stuck case remover, and trust me, you will get them stuck. It happens to us all. Having this around will save you from some future frustration when you go to size and then your case gets stuck, and then you can't remove it, which holds up your whole entire reloading operation. And finally, you possibly will need a military crimp remover. If you plan on using brass that has primer pockets that are crimped, you will need this, but if not, don't worry about picking it up. With kits, it's a great way to get into reloading, but it can be argued that some of the items included might slow down your process and force you to upgrade some of the current items you may or may not have. Some of those things include an electronic powder thrower and scale combo. Currently, there are multiple options on the market that allow you to pour your powder into the machine, into your charge weight requested, and sit back while it dispenses your powder. The price can range from a few $100 and quickly get up to $1,000. With some of the more affordable options, a lot of individuals will upgrade to these throwers not only for the time savings, but for the consistency as well too. If you don't want to spend the money on a powder thrower with this kit, you can use your trickler and scale to get just as precise throws, but will take you a little longer to throw a powder charge. What you can do with what comes in the actual kit to speed up the process is use the volumetric powder thrower included to throw a powder charge under your targeted charge weight you want, and then use your trickler and scale. As an example, if my targeted charge weight is 30 grains, I can set up my volumetric powder thrower to 28 grains, and then use my trickler to fine tune the accuracy on the scale. The reason we wouldn't go to the exact targeted charge weight is because you might get overthrows due to the propellant type and shape. For example, all of the extruded powders that look like little sticks have issues with all volumetric powder throwers. It's not an RCBS only issue, which is why you throw a charge weight under and then trickle up. For your ball powders and flake, the volumetric powder throwers actually work really well. The next upgrade people usually tend to go for is an annealer down the road. An annealing will extend your case life longevity and will prevent you from overworking brass, which in return, if you don't anneal, will eventually cause case failure and will no longer be able to be used. The annealing options are similar to powder throwers in the sense that you have a lot of options for affordable and expensive. You can use a blowtorch and a drill if you wanted, a flame annealer like Annealers or Bench Source. You can even go up to the more expensive options which anneal more precisely and consistently, as well as speed up your process with induction annealers like the AMP. However, if you are handy with some tools, you can even create your own induction annealer, which I'll link below if you are interested. The downside with making your own is that it doesn't have the Aztec mode, which analyzes your brass for correct temperature and time like the AMP offers. Now let's use this gear in this kit, load up 100 rounds, and hit the range. Before we end, I do want to highlight some of the things about this kit that I like and dislike. For the press, the Rebel is bigger and beefier than a rock chucker while offering a wider opening. The press does accept standard 7/8 dies and even 1.25 inch for your bigger dies, which you can remove the insert at the top to install. This press does not have an option to prime on it and doesn't have a collection primer tray either, which is why they include a hand primer ultimately. It uses a chute in the ram to dispense the primers below, which you'll need a bucket to collect them. The press is really rock solid. It doesn't have much play at all. You will need to lube the press a little bit, and they offer a fitting for you to do so right here. You can also switch the handle from the right or the left side depending upon which one you prefer. The digital scale offered in the kit is decent. If you want to upgrade, Amazon is awesome, and there are a million different options out there for you to choose from if you don't like the one included in the kit. The funnel is okay. It has these little steps in it, and I noticed that if you don't place it properly on your case, it can cause powder to slide right past it. It is universal though and accepts 22 to 50 cal. There are some cheap upgrades like this Lee that works well and are about $5 and doesn't have any steps in it and accepts 22 to 45 cal. While both funnels are plastic, you can get powder to cling to the surface of the funnel due to static. You can just wipe the funnel with a dryer sheet to fix that issue if it does happen to you. The volumetric powder thrower is awesome for ball and flake powders. Like previously mentioned though, you will have a little trouble with under or overthrows because of the stick powder you may be using. Just throw under and use your scale and trickler to eliminate that issue. It will take more time, but ultimately it's a great little setup. As for the trickler, the extension tube can cause some blockages. A quick fix is just to remove the stem and prevent the blockage and keep it off. It does have a little adjustable base at the bottom, which is awesome so that you can align it correctly so it has a slight tilt. This is ideal so that when you are trickling powder, it flows better. The reloading manual is great, but you will most likely be using online interactive manuals from Hodgdon and Shooter's World 2 for more up-to-date data. The book even teaches you how to reload, which is awesome, but if you are a visual learner, we do offer a great beginner's course, which I'll put a discount code below for those specifically watching this video. The universal reloading tray works great, just like any other one. I'd recommend that you do pick up a few. You can really never have too many. As for the case lube, it works great. If you want to make your own that works really, really good too, you can use 99% isopropyl alcohol and lanolin. I'll leave a link below where to get those two as well. I'd recommend to use a ratio of 10 to 1, 11 to 1, or 12 to 1, alcohol to lanolin. The chamfering tool is a 45 degree, it appears, that comes in the kit. I personally like the VLD, which is a 22 degree roughly, but again, it's just a personal preference. Both really work great. The kit does come with this bar that allows you to hang the powder measure off your press. It's nice to have, but I don't use it personally. I found that doing it kind of makes things cluster within my reloading space, but if your wife forces you to that little corner of the house to reload, this will be great to add to the press and give you more room on your bench to place things then. The kit does come with die lock rings that have a retaining screw. Kind of weird, right? But dies all come with lock rings. But I'll tell you why this is a great addition. Some of the dies that you may purchase have a die lock ring that's essentially secured by a rubber O-ring inside of it. Over time, this can back out. Even more so when taking this kind of die lock ring in and out of your press for each part of the reloading operation, whether it's resizing or seating a bullet, you will have to reset your die again, which can be a bit of a pain and more time consuming. So what you can do is replace the die lock ring on your die with these that offer a retaining pin on the side to keep not only the setting when you take it in and out of your press, but it won't back out while reloading either. Overall, this is a nice little kit for those who don't want to spend a ton of money to get started and don't see themselves upgrading in the future. There are certainly upgrades to make their loading process faster, but ultimately that is entirely up to you if you want to. I would say that if you do see yourself upgrading in the future, I would recommend just piecing the stuff together yourself though. We do have a big list of things we recommend in our beginner's course based on budget and shooting application, which can help guide you. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope this can help you weigh your options a little bit better if you decide on getting into reloading. It's certainly very fun, and you can create very consistent ammunition over factory options. Thanks for watching.